Here is an interesting shiny Pokemon tip or shiny hunting Aerodactyl in Pokemon X and Y for Nintendo 3DS. So in Glittering Cave, at the very end of the cave, there are rocks you can smash with the Pokemon move Rock Smash. You get Rock Smash from a girl outside of the aquarium in Ambrette town, which is also close by the Pokemon Center for anyone wondering where to get Rock Smash. Teach a Pokemon Rock Smash and go to Glittering Cave and make your way all the way to the very end of the cave. You'll notice the rocks there you can destroy by using Rock Smash. The goal here is to destroy all the rocks in the area to start collecting the old amber fossil. To make the rocks spawn again, leave the room and go back and try again. The old amber is used to restore Aerodactyl at the fossil lab. So the interesting part of this tip is that if you want an easier way to bulk up on old amber, you want to destroy as many rocks as possible in the Glittering Cave before you finish your video game. Before you finish Pokemon X and Y, there are only 3 item spawns that you get from destroying the rocks with Rock Smash in this area of Glittering Cave. The following items are the only 3 you can get: the Hardstone, Revive, and of course the Old Amber. So the interesting part is when you do this before you finish your video game, you have less items that drop from destroying the rocks, and you also have a better chance of getting Old Amber much faster because there are only so many items that can drop at this point in your playthrough. So before you finish the video game, Old Amber has a 15% chance of dropping, and when you finish the video game, it moves down to 10%. So one would think that a 5% drop is not too bad, and you would be correct, but the main problem is once you become the new champion in your video game, meaning you've actually finished Pokemon X and Y, different types of fossils will start dropping when you use Rock Smash in this area. So after you finish your video game, the chance of getting the Old Amber is 10%, but there will also be more fossils that get in the way if you're trying to bulk collect Old Amber. This is basically an over-explained video telling you how to bulk collect Old Amber before you finish your video game, so you can collect a lot of Old Amber, which will help you with shiny hunting Aerodactyl. There really isn't a set amount of Old Amber that you need to have ready to go to eventually go shiny hunting for Aerodactyl. In my case, I wanted a complete box of Aerodactyl, which means I collected 30 Old Amber before I even started shiny hunting. To make this not boring, I was also shiny hunting in the Glittering Cave while I was collecting the Old Amber, so it just made the entire process more fun. That was not the most efficient way of collecting Old Amber, but if you want to make this more enjoyable for yourself, you probably may want to just do regular shiny hunting while you're collecting the Old Amber, because in general it's going to take time if you want to really bulk collect the Old Amber. So just, make it fun if you're having problems with just collecting tons of Old Amber. Once you have enough Old Amber to your liking, go to the fossil lab that is in Ambrette town. Have a full Pokemon party team. So every time you revive Aerodactyl, they go right into your Pokemon PC. And of course, make sure you have enough room in your Pokemon PC to store all of the brand new Aerodactyl. For whatever reason, when you get Aerodactyl to your PC, it goes to the first spot that is free in your PC and not the most recent box you are using. So for example, if you were using box 20 in your PC and you start reviving Aerodactyl, but there was a free spot available in box 1, the Aerodactyl are going to go to the box 1 instead of box 20. So basically, just make sure that your Pokemon PC is organized before you start restoring any Aerodactyl from the Old Amber. In my particular case, I was doing this project during a shiny only playthrough, so it was a pretty fresh video game and I did not have tons of Pokemon stored in my Pokemon PC, so I did not have that problem. But for a lot of you guys trying this out, you have probably finished your video game and you probably have tons of Pokemon in your Pokemon PC, so just keep that in mind, that you want to make sure you organize things correctly before you start restoring a bunch of Old Amber fossils into Aerodactyl. Save your video game right here, because if you do not get a shiny Aerodactyl, you're going to soft reset your video game. So you have enough Old Amber, PC is organized, you're ready to go. Save right here before you start doing anything. Once that is done, start talking to the dude and start restoring the Old Amber into Aerodactyl. Once you have used up all of the Old Amber, go to your Pokemon PC and check each and every Aerodactyl that you revived from the Old Amber and find out if you have a shiny Pokemon or not. In most cases, you're probably not going to find it on the first try, but sometimes you never know because it's shiny hunting. Anything can literally happen. So if you do not have a shiny Aerodactyl, you're going to soft reset your video game. You do this on the 3DS by pressing the L, R, and start button on your 3DS all at the same time. It's going to put you right back to where you last saved your video game. So that's why it's super important to save your video game before you start restoring any of the old Amber. You're basically going to keep doing this process until you get a shiny Aerodactyl. For my example, I was doing 30 old Ambers into Aerodactyl. So every time I checked 30 Aerodactyl, if none of them were shiny, I soft reset my video game and I tried again. I restored another 30 Aerodactyl. I checked my Pokemon PC. If it was not shiny, I soft reset and I tried again. I kept doing this until I got the shiny Aerodactyl, obviously, but that's pretty much all you have to do. So keep in mind that the shiny odds are 1 out of 4,096. The shiny charm does not work with any fossil Pokemon because they are technically gift Pokemon, meaning that gift Pokemon do not get the shiny charm increase. So it really doesn't matter when you go for any fossil Pokemon, it's always going to be full odds. And in Generation 6, the full odds for shiny Pokemon is 1 out of 4,096. So that is basically my over-explained video on how you can, in theory, find a shiny Aerodactyl faster by doing all of the steps I talked about before you finish your Pokemon X and Y video game. Can you still find a shiny Aerodactyl after you finish your video game? Absolutely 100%. If you follow my instructions from this video, it's just going to make it really easy to collect old Amber. That's the entire point of this video, is if you do this trick, it's going to make your life a little easier. But it doesn't matter when you go for a shiny Aerodactyl, as long as you have old Amber, you in theory could just have just the one fossil and you could still get your shiny Aerodactyl. So at the end of the day, this is just something that is useful that you can do to make your overall shiny hunting project just a lot simpler and just a lot easier to do, because the video game allows you to bulk restore fossil Pokemon one after another, so might as well collect a bunch of old Amber before you finish your video game so that you can go shiny hunting for Aerodactyl, because like, why not? Like, why would you not want to make things a little easier for yourself? Because checking one fossil at a time gets really old. So in my personal opinion, this is definitely something you should try to do if you particularly want a shiny Aerodactyl from Pokemon X and Y. So yeah, that is a over-explained video on how you can do things to eventually get yourself a shiny Aerodactyl in Pokemon X and Y. I never thought I'd make a video just for one shiny Pokemon in particular, but you really have to kind of talk about all of the things that are related to Aerodactyl for this particular shiny project, because it's stuff you like wouldn't really look for particularly. So like, that's why it's kind of fun to talk about stuff like this that you normally wouldn't think would actually be like something useful, but in practicality it really is. Because as someone who likes to bulk stock up on Pokemon items and stuff like that to make shiny hunting easier, this is definitely a prime example on how you can bulk up on the old Amber, and then that will help you in theory, because shiny hunting is different for everybody. The shiny luck is different for everybody, but in theory, this will make it a little faster to get the shiny Aerodactyl from Pokemon X and Y. Oh, wait. Never mind, it's right there. How did I miss? I must have gone too fast. Whoopsies. Whoopsies, I messed up. Hey, I got my shiny. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, neutral nature. Okay. 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 It's got pressure though. That's all right. Thanks for watching a video about me info dumping about one shiny Pokemon. It's fun. I like doing stuff like this. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'll just see you next time when I talk about shiny hunting or just useful tips and tricks that you should know for whatever Pokemon video game I want to talk about in the future. So I'm SMK. You can always just call me Steven. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.